All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are at Camp Pendleton, California, with World Cup champion of San Diego Dynasty, Kyle Spicka, baby.
Yeah.
How you doing? You play some paintball today?
I did. Played a little paintball, trained a kid for a little bit, you know.
Nice. What do you? So you do? You're doing training here now.
Yeah, helping out some kids when I have some free time coming up here, and
Nice.
just finally like giving back some knowledge that I've gained finally now.
Yes, sir. So just so everyone knows, we're kind of going to do a little breakdown about Kyle Spicka, about your life,
Yeah.
where you started playing, all that good stuff. I've had some questions that some kids have asked me to ask you, and then some other questions that we wrote down so everyone can just find out more about you, because everyone knows about Oliver and Ryan and Alex and Yosh. So it's time to get the new young bucks some hype here, baby. But no, just first questions, like starting out, like basic stuff, like where did you start playing? Like how old were you, and then where was that? Because I know it wasn't here. Because I know when you moved down here, it wasn't.
No,
this isn't where you grew up playing.
No.
So just that basic stuff.
Yeah, it's been like such a crazy, wild, long experience, and I grew up in North Carolina, and I think I was about 6th grade, maybe 7th grade. I had a couple friends that played paintball at my middle school, and they're like, "You should come play with us one time." And I just went, instantly was addicted to it.
Yeah.
And then my mom we didn't have a lot of money growing up, so when I told her, I'm like, "Hey, I need this like $600." I think it was an Impulse, but it was like the tank, the hopper. It was like an egg hopper, and this like rat Impulse, like whole deal for $600. And I told my mom that, she's like lost it, but I kept
That's expensive.
I kept begging her for like 2-3 weeks, and she finally like gave in, and that's like what set off my like tournament paintball addiction kind of. And I think I started working at like 15 or 16, just as like a busboy at a restaurant. Just as soon as I could start working, and I kind of had to stop playing school sports, because right after school at like 4 o'clock I'd have to go work, and I worked at like a surf shop and as a busboy, just so that I could afford to play paintball, because as everyone knows, it's expensive. And you know, right after I gained a little traction through there for a couple years playing like local tournaments, there was for most people that remember back in the day, there was like the Gridlock Trauma Camp.
Yeah.
And the Gridlock teams fed into the pro team, Trauma.
Right, the Trauma boys, Dave Fasson and all them, they were a good team. They were badass.
Yeah,
Those guys were good.
I love them till this day.
So you played on their lower division team
lower
to
division,
try to make that team, like, and that team was good too.
Yeah, that team was really good too. And it was crazy. Even it was like you would pay like $250 a month just as like paintball fees, and that would cover your paint for practices and all that stuff. And then you had to pay your airfare and hotel and all that stuff. So it was still like crazy expensive. But I was getting so good at paintball, and I was meeting this family. I mean, we had like 120 people, huge group. There was just this massive family that we just rolled around, this huge crew. And then 2007, it just like diminished. It like just went away. Like 100 people, just I think maybe 10, 15 of them kept playing paintball, but it just completely, diminished. And at that point, I had nowhere really to play. There was like some decent teams in North Carolina, but nothing crazy where I wanted to get to. And so one of the Gridlock kids went down to Florida to play with this team called Palm Beach Vipers, who are still kind of around. But they had a D2 team and a D1 team, and I went to try out, and they're like, well, you could play on the D2 team. Obviously, we're not going to fly you down here. You have to move down here. So I was able to move down there, and I lived in this house that had like 3 of the D1 kids on it, and the owner and coach of the team, Ken Bryson. And I played D2 for the first event that I played with them, and they're like, okay, you're good enough. We're going to put you onto the D1 team. And I played for about a year there. I went to community college down there for a year, worked like some odd jobs as well to try to cover expenses, and but it still wasn't enough. Like we were good, but it's not where I wanted to be. And I've always looked at like HK and Ironman, and all these dudes have been my idol for my whole life out here. Like this is like
the
where
Mecca,
the Mecca,
of paintball,
yeah.
where paintball
This is-
started.
yeah.
You're looking at Dynasty.
Yeah,
And then,
where you have the swag, you have
Yeah.
the skills, like West Coast ball. Like
we were running around out here
Yeah.
being little terrorists at
Yeah.
the time. We were practicing, Avalanche and Dynasty and,
Yeah.
and Ironman guys out here. Even playing D1. I mean,
Yeah.
you get so good so quick when you're out here.
And
So
I wanted to be out here. And backtracking a little bit, as I was like going up through Gridlock and knowing the trauma guys, they would kind of introduce me to you guys and like Damien and Tally. Like back in the day, I remember I used to have to like try to run away from them because they were always terrorizing me. I was like,
Shout out
4
to Tally,
foot,
baby.
yeah, right. R.I.P. And I was like just this little young kid, but I idolized all you guys and just wanted to be a part of that, And that this seemed where it was. If you wanted to be something in paintball, it was out here. And I got a chance to try out with Semi-Pro Aftermath through talking to Marcelo and Mouse. They kind of got me out here, got me on a tryout.
Is that when you packed up the car?
Yeah.
You said, screw it.
Well, first
I'm coming out here, all your belongings,
Yeah.
and that's when I
Yeah.
officially kind of really got to know you, and I saw you.
And we played that HK, that MPPL together.
Yeah, we played that, and I was like, I really didn't know who you were at the time. Like, Kyle Spicka, I was living in San Diego, and then you came down. I was like, so we got to hang out a lot during that time.
I remember that was the first time I got to hang out with you guys. It was like October 2010 for Halloween, and it was like B Short and Skemp and Kenny and
everyone.
I was like, dude, I love these guys. Like, this is for me. I want to be here. So
That's so fun.
I played with Aftermath just for one event for World Cup, and me and him kind of butt heads a little bit on the field outside. I lived with him for a month when I first moved out here, and played with a semi-pro team. And amazing guy, he taught me so much. Just butt heads a little bit on the field, as most people do.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy. He's tough on people, but he makes good players.
Exactly. So. And so I can't thank him enough for helping me get out here and take that big step. And then after that, things weren't working out, and I quit, but I was living out here and I loved it. Marcelo helped me find a place, like going through Craigslist, and drove me around. And
you already had a stable job.
Yeah,
so
and
you're able to.
Kind of backtracking. As soon as I flew out, him said, you got to move out here if you want to play with us. I'm not going to fly you out, obviously. So I packed up my stuff from Florida, drove my car that has like 150,000 miles on it.
Dedication right here. He already moved from home to Florida to here. That's dedication.
So I was like 19 at the time. I went back to North Carolina, visited my mom for like 2 days, and then pinned it out, 3-day trip across over here, and drove right. I think I drove right in like Saturday morning to practice.
Oh wow.
And
you gotta be tired.
And then him and like instantly he's like, you better fucking start playing good, or I'm sending you back home. I'm like,
he's a tough cookie.
But it made me strong. Like, it made me, really want it and know that you got to go through those obstacles. So ended up not really working out. And I remember I was at a Super Bowl party with Braden Short and Glenn and all those guys, and they could kind of tell maybe I was like a little bit down, that there was like this big wall that I didn't know if I was going to get past. And they pulled me in and asked me if I wanted to come try out for Ironman. And so I did that, and I wasn't even getting to a lot of reps in through the first few tournaments. But then, it kind of took off, and fast forwarding a little bit, I had a lot of responsibility. I was like team manager, about booking flights, hotels, everything. And you
had the die card.
Yeah, I had the die card. Swiping.
Only a few people get the die card.
I think Short and Scott were a little jealous of that one.
Yeah. Sorry, Shorty.
Yeah. No, but I was generous. And I was like starting to get into that next level and evolution of my game, but then taking on all that responsibility as being a team manager wore on me also a little bit, because I couldn't really focus solely on my own self and be selfish and work on my own game.
Yeah. You had to worry about the whole entire team.
The whole entire team, and
flights,
I was already a veteran in 2 years, like one of the older kids on the team. So Short left to go to Dynasty for 2013, and I'm now living with Short, who's been like my childhood idol, which is already crazy. That is, even every day I think about it.
It's
so much.
Amazing, right?
Yeah. It's like
flop down with all of.
You're a basketball player and you're living with like Kobe Bryant.
Yeah,
like,
that's amazing.
Yeah. And now he's just like a big brother to me. And so, yeah, it was like
Short leaves the squad.
Short leaves the squad.
You're still on the team.
I'm still on the team, and I wasn't sure if I want to leave, but the whole team was like completely changing, and a lot of things that I didn't really like were happening. I was like, you know what, I'll just take this risk. I think it's good, and I came with Short right after, like a week later. You know, I just figured it was the right thing to do. Yeah. He has taught me so much over the past few years. I felt like I owed it to him too, to like be along his side.
No, Short's a great player.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
So you joined the squad.
And insane year.
It's been nuts.
Yeah, insane. The first year, just right off the break, Dallas, we won. That was my first pro event.
That had to feel so good too,
yeah.
Especially like being the manager for Ironman and having all this responsibility.
We played Ironman that event.
Yeah, you play Ironman that event, and I remember because I'm on the sidelines cheering, and every time you guys were beating Ironman, never lost to them, and then you guys go and win an event. I mean, that had to be such a reliever and best feeling ever.
I have got 8 second places. One of them was with you when we lost in MPPL in Vegas.
Yeah.
When we lost, who was that, Entourage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rainy,
yeah. And the one I won, the last one.
Yeah, dude. It was like a 1-on-4. I shot like all of them, and Rainy and me, and then I went to reload, and he got me.
Dude, it's crazy. And
You're dead, Rainy.
Yeah. And it's like wild that I had so many second places, and I came to this team who's been the most winning team, ever in the sport,
And boom, we got to win,
and we got to win, dude. And then won the next event. And then, I mean, fortunately, but so good, second place the next event after that. Yeah. It was like, took the series first year.
Solid year.
Yeah.
I was screaming my lungs out on the sidelines. It was the best year ever to watch you guys.
Crazy, like, right after we won that second event too, I was like, we got the juice.
Yeah, no, it was amazing.
Yeah.
So it had to be, an amazing feeling to also, since you grew up with all of us and we're friends with all of us, you moved down here and I started to hang out with you every day, and you were Short and Ryan, everyone, but still you were kind of like segregated because you weren't with like the family, the HK family. Yeah. So to join, Dynasty and be part of the whole crew had to feel pretty good too.
Yeah, it was nice. It was like that whole like reunion of people like Dynasty and HK, and then being back with all you guys as sponsor. When I was with Ironman, it was kind of like segregated a little bit, like even though, we need to wear all dye stuff, and not even like our HK headbands that we had for years.
Couldn't even wear those anymore. It got a little tough. It's like we have fun, but then when we see you at the field, we can't really talk. So it's a good feeling to have you with us and on the squad.
I think that took like a lot of relief off everyone's shoulders, and made everyone like really focus on what's important. And paintball is a lot about friendship and family. And
it's everything. We all played this because we loved it and it was fun. And then to be able to travel the world, which I was going to get to next. I mean, you get to play overseas now.
Yeah.
And winning out there and doing really good as well. So tell everyone about that. So
that opened up a door. I was playing with some decent teams out there, but like semi-pro, like that's what you mostly do when you first go there. You play semi-pro. But when I got on Dynasty, our Chaos picked me up, and everyone knows like those 4 Russians, arguably like in the top. Those 4 dudes are in the top. All 4 of them, the top players in the world. Like probably amazing. Top 10. And to be able to play with those 4 guys and me be the 5th guy, and we're just crushing everyone was a pretty good feeling.
That was amazing to watch as well.
An amazing experience. I didn't change it for anything. And so we won a bunch with them, and I actually got offered when they formed our Chaos to play over here. I got offered to play with them, but once again, going back to like family, I couldn't leave Dynasty. It's hard to. I feel like it's hard to leave that team once you get on it.
Yeah, and especially after you went through all that and moving so many times, and then. I don't know if they were going to have to move again or whatever, but it'd be a lot of traveling for practices. And I mean, you're at home in sunny San Diego. You don't want to do that.
I love these guys like Alex, Ryan, like make you laugh nonstop. It's pretty priceless to put that on that. It's not like we're making a ton of money out here. So.
Yeah, no, 100%. And then I don't know. I had a question from someone online was just saying like, what were you feeling? I'm fast forwarding here. I know that World Cup.
Yeah.
Houston Heat for the win. Marcelo, last one, he's shooting a couple guys. He shoots Fedorov. I think Fedorov's still shooting.
Yeah, he's still shooting. I shoot him too.
Yeah, and then Greg Sewer is sprinting and he's quick.
Yeah.
And you just get that last split-second shot before he hits that buzzer. We had a question just saying like, what were you feeling like when you knew? One, when it was happening, and then 2, when you knew you shot it before he hit the buzzer. Like, it had to be so much going in.
Dude, it was crazy. I was just telling someone, telling the kid I was training today, like just running through that whole situation, and it was it's crazy because it even goes back to when we were relegated, like how bad I felt when we lost was going through my head in that point, because we had just, like, me, Brandon, Marcelo, and Ryan, and A-Rod and Oliver were switching, but we had played the last 4 points, and we'd won all 4 of those points. And, you know, I think that if they would have won that point and the momentum would have switched, there's a good chance that they would have pulled that point off, just by the back and forthness of our sport and us winning those last 4 points in a row. So I was thinking, like, we can't lose this point. Like, it's going to be really bad if we lose this point and have to go into overtime. So that was the first thing that clicked in my head when I started seeing people die, and I remember seeing, like, the faces on the guys when we lost, and I was like, I can't let it happen again. So Marcelo, going back into, like, the logistics of what happened, Marcelo was shooting, and we couldn't see each other, and he's like, I'm watching you. And I was thinking, if I come back out of the snake without them seeing me, they're going to try to come bunker me in the snake. I won't get traded out, and Marcelo will shoot them. So that's, like, one of the bodies.
Yeah.
I'd shot Mishka at the X as he was trading out with Short. So I come back into the God, and literally Malloy was, like, the only one that picked Malloy was, like, the only one that picked me up. And literally, like, I was, like, looking at him as a ball came by. He just barely missed me. And then I hear the 2 guns so loud, just hammering right outside my bunker. And I was able to come out as, like, Marceau shooting them, shoot those 2. Yeah. And then at that point, I didn't really know how much time was left. But I knew it was down to the wire. Yeah. So I was like, I'm just going to come back just so I can see Marcelo, watch his back. And luckily, as I was coming back, Chad had just finished bunkering him, and he was, like, literally raising his gun up as I had my gun, the first, like, 3 balls on him. And then out of just, like, by memorizing that whole thing, Greg was, the last place I saw him was in the 50 Dorito. So that's why I did remember him. That's actually when I was in the snake, I could see him coming down the Doritos, and that was another reason I came back, to see if I could come back, get a shot on him from the God, with him out not knowing that I had moved back. And then he kind of just lost track of me as I was shooting Chad, but I also lost track of him, and that's why when you watch it, you see me come back, because I'm thinking he's still in the Doritos, and we're going to be in a one-on-one situation. And then as I'm coming back and I don't see him, I was thinking, shit, the time's probably real low. Yeah. And that's when I was just like, I'm going to look at, just head check for the buzzer. And I was going to see the buzzer. Like, oh. He knew where I was too, and I didn't know where he was, and he had just dropped his gun to hit the buzzer. So it was perfect timing that I was able to shoot him. And I knew, like, I knew shooting him was, that he was hit. Like, and thank God there was the one ref, Justin, that was, like, straight back behind me that saw it the same way. And then I was a little scared too, because I'm like, shit, I just shot Greg like 5 times. If he got the buzzer, there was already like a hit on him on the side from, I think, something else. Yeah. But I'm like, I just shot him 5 times. Or if he hit the buzzer, they're going to think I shot him after the buzzer. Yeah. So it was like...
The refs, I mean, there was some commotion for a second.
Yeah. I mean, it was such a crazy, insane moment, like compiled chunks of experiences all into that like last 10 seconds where you had to like instinctually perform at like the best possible way.
You definitely did, and I came out on top, and then
greatest feeling in the world.
When we saw you go in front of the crowd and just open arms, going crazy, that had to be like one of the best, I'm sure, feelings, or the best feelings in your paintball career, sure. Hands down. In World Cup life, with like, Dynasty, and you're the one like to help them win and do that. I mean, it had to be amazing.
Yeah, I was like speechless, like the most energy I've ever felt in my entire life. Like my whole body felt like you could see like an energy.
Tyler Harmon,
crazy. Dude, it was insane. And then it kind of pushes me to do stuff like that more. Like we did it in Cleveland. Unfortunately, it didn't go in our favor with the Archie overshooting thing. Yeah. But to like get those moments for me where I can do something crazy or pull off something that no one's done before. Infamous in Dallas, that game where we had that crazy point, like that's what I play this sport for. Like I'm addicted to that.
Yeah, that's a crazy rush, crazier than anything else you could do. If you haven't experienced it, then it's kind of hard to understand. But when you're in that moment and then you pull it off, it's just amazing. Yeah. I mean, that's just amazing. You played the whole team played amazing. You played awesome. It was crazy to even watch that game from the sidelines and then seeing you pull that move off. Especially, I was like, wow, because I mean, you worked so hard to get to where you are right now from such a young age, and just I'm so happy that it was you. So who's Kyle Spicka's favorite player?
I'll probably say two people. Going back in the day, it was Kenny Rosenberg.
Little Kenny.
For anybody that remembers Kenny, like
I played with Kenny on Legacy.
Yeah,
he was the shortest, little fastest.
And
when
he's really short. When I first started playing, I was shorter than him. Like looking up to him, like, dude, I want to be just like you and the Snake. And he gave me his jersey in '06 World Cup. Like I felt so bad they had just lost the Avalanche, and he's like, I promise you, I still have his jersey.
Nice.
I think he's my next door neighbor now, so it's it's crazy. I think my jersey of his is actually in his closet. I need to get back. But
Mr. Rosenberg.
It's pretty tough, but I would probably say it's still Short.
Brandon Short.
Yeah.
Because he's your roommate, or really because Short?
No, because I've always looked up to him. And,
No, Short's awesome.
Yeah.
Really cares about this sport and the game, and it's a good one to have.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like paintball knowledge, like Ryan Greenspan's been the most like insane, like logically and statistically, and surpasses anyone else I've ever met as far as knowing the game and breaking it down, and then like Oliver morally, like it's crazy. Like those two guys, I don't know how like anyone else is gonna replace that.
Yeah, you have so many great, talented people on that team.
Dude,
it's
insane.
You're just sucking up knowledge left and right over there.
Even like I don't know, there's no one on our team that I would replace for anyone else.
That's awesome. What's next for Kyle Spicka? Like how do you plan to stay on top of your game and still be keep Dynasty on top?
Getting to this point is actually like it was kind of cool for me because it's made me want to work harder than I've worked hard. My work ethic before, and it's been like practicing during the week, trying to get as many reps in when we do have practice, and really trying to soak in everything I can, because I like always preach this that experiences are far surpass fundamentals in this game, because you have to be able to like handle those situations like we were just talking about so quickly and instinctually, and slow the game down while you're playing it, because it's easy to be outside the field and say, oh, this guy should do this, or this guy should do this, but it's another ball game when you have people with paintballs flying 200 miles at you. So yeah, just grinding a lot and really taking everything I can in still, and just opening my mind, just to not just the limitations of paintball in the past,
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. Yeah. So who's a competitor that brings out the best of your game when you play against in paintball?
I would say, I mean, and this person probably knows he's that person too, because whenever we play, we're both just out for blood. It's Mouse, Alex Ullman. I'm sure you guys know. Snake God.
Snake God himself. He's a good player too.
Yeah, but practice gets pretty gruesome. At the tournament, we both we have to do our other jobs, but I think when we're in there, we're just ready to. So it's like
going back and forth,
it's like who can buck each other more, and it's this crazy story actually. They were talking about this when I forget what team he was on. I think it was on Ironman. It was like the first year against. We were playing them before MAO, and Himman was coaching Ironman. A-Rod was still on the team, and me and Mouse on this field layout, we just crushing each other. Just our hands are all bloody, just going at it, talking shit, just wanting to rip each other's heads off. But we're good friends, but on the field it's like a whole different ballgame. Yeah, and it was pretty gnarly practice, really heated. And we end up sitting next to each other on the plane to the tournament. Yeah, it was so crazy.
Oh my God.
And I remember because he sits down next to me, and it was like a pretty gnarly practice. And he's sitting down next to me, and Hinman walks on the plane. He's like, what are the chances? We're just all three of us are laughing.
That is fun.
And but yeah, I love that kid. He's taught me a lot too, man. And
nice.
I have much respect for him too as a player. We definitely he does some amazing stuff, and
Nice.
brings the best out of me too.
Nice. Well, that's good. You get to shoot him a little bit.
Yeah,
He needs to get shot up every once in a while.
Right, yeah.
What team are you most looking forward to be playing against for next year?
You know, there was some changes, not a lot with Impact, but of course, like going back, Mouse is playing with them now, so I think they're going to be definitely top competitors, so they'll be fun to play against. And I'm interested to play Heat with their coaching change and some of their roster changes. Also, like AC Dallas, they're coming up. A lot of those kids are my friends. Like I helped them back in like D2 days, like coach them when they were VCK. So like a lot of their players are on that team now, and I have much respect to them to see what they're going to do this next year. And you know, X Factor, I love those guys too, and they're always a good team.
Nice.
But Scott now onto the Ironman too, so that's going to be
Scott's going to be coming for you. He lives right next door to them and to you guys, so you got to have some battles with Skep now.
Yeah, I know. It was funny, like Skep and Short were running drills the other day. They came up here and they didn't tell me, and I'm like, I had the day off. I'm like, you guys don't tell me? And they're like, we're trying to get an edge on the MVP for this year.
Oh
like,
my God.
Just joking around. But
Alrighty, well, it was good talking to you. Excited to see you guys play next season, and you. You've been working really hard. I know you've been out here practicing and everything. So I'm pumped for you guys to see Dynasty and you next year. But if anyone has any other questions, we should have them write in the comments below, and we'll answer those. Either I or Spicka will respond to you guys. So thank you for coming out here. I know you're already out here for practice, but everybody, Kyle Spicka, baby, 2016, he's coming in hot.
watch out.